Hi everyone, I get to do this again. I actually did this video once before and then basically it shat on me and said, hey, you selected the wrong mic, it's this mic here, it stopped working 5 months ago and I have to use a normal computer mic. Anyhow, how Paliperidone or Risperidone nearly killed me. I'm going to get into the story. I'm going to be a little bit more entertaining this time around because it's my second time round I get to do this. So what happened? The first time I took Risperidone, I was placed in one of those mental waiting rooms where you basically get assessed by a psychiatrist. You can't have your phone, you can't have any of your belongings, you can't have anything on you. I mean, even if it's a Game Boy, because they're worried that you might try and choke yourself or something, or kill yourself while you're in there. The first experience I had with it was I had it, and basically I had some sort of reaction where my mouth dried up. Everything inside my mouth was absolutely dry, and it was very hard for me to breathe. I was drinking water every 3 seconds. Okay, and basically what happened next is, I was put on through. By the way, it wasn't even I was there as a voluntary patient, and the nurses just forced me to take it. It was risperidone. It was 5 milligrams. They came in there and they just forced me to take it. Like, you need to take something now. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, you don't have a choice. You have to take something now. So they forced that upon me. Hospitals, they're fantastic. The mental hospitals are fantastic with the nurses because the nurses force you to take the medication, even when you're a volunteer patient, and they do not let up. They will force you to take medication and they will put it down your throat and give you Valiums. For the 3, they'll give you Valiums like gumdrops. Or mints. Or whatever you want to call it. That's what happened. Anyhow, that was my first experience with it. It was my first time in one of the hospitals that was in the public system. If only I said I would sue them, I'd probably get out of there because I was a volunteer patient. But anyhow, I don't even like telling this story because I'm a very private person, and I only want to come out and say these sort of things because I feel like the world needs to know, just in case. Anyhow, my psychiatrist at the time, they brought me into a private hospital and they shipped me off to a public hospital again because I wasn't doing so well in the private hospital. And since she saw that I had risperidone, she thought, oh, well, what happens if we put him on the injectable version of it, Paliperidone? So they did that for a week. They did it for 2 weeks. Or a month or something like that. Yeah, they did it for 2 weeks. They gave me the booster pack, the starting pack, where it's a pretty low dose and it has to be injected weekly or every fortnight. And they did that. And what I got from it was restless leg syndrome. I had to continuously be walking. I know I'm fat. It's a good thing for me. But trust me, when you have restless leg syndrome, it is the worst nightmare that you can ever imagine. You have to walk everywhere, your legs don't let down, you can't sit down, you can't do anything. It's horrible. You never want that to happen, restless leg syndrome. I don't know how it came to be, but that's what I got. So I got back into the hospital and I got out, and then I got out of the I got out of the hospital. I came back home, and then after I came back home, I had to take another dose of it from a visiting nurse because those nurses, they come out to you each week or each fortnight or whatever it is, and they were going to give me the medium dose. Now, this is the thing, they were increasing it. It was increased because this is going to be a monthly thing. So they gave me 75 milligrams of Paliperidone. And the first thing I noticed was when I got the shot, or when I got the injection, is that right in my arm, it started to swell up, and it started to hurt really, really bad as soon as I got it. And I just took a walk and I noticed my heart rate might have been going faster than normal. I just continued to go with it. And then later on, the day continued. I felt very mellowed, very passed out, almost very, what is it? Catatonic. Yeah, that's the right word. I was pretty much catatonic. And what happened is, the first night came along. I couldn't sleep. Big whoop. So then the second night came as well, and I'm gonna remind you, I'm walking around like a dog that's chasing its own tail because I cannot sit down. The only way I can sit down is by going on a walk and resting my legs. Or going on a hard walk and resting my legs. So the second night comes, I don't sleep. Again. At this point, I'm like, oh my god, this is the longest I've been up. And this is going to turn into a 5-night thing. This is why it nearly killed me. So, the third night comes, and I try and do some rearranging in my bedroom. And call some people. I'm like, oh my god, I can't sleep, breaking down, crying. One person did help me out. Another one didn't really help me out that much. But what can you do? And then the fourth day came, and I saw the doctor again. And they prescribed me Stilnox, which I changed over to temazepam because I never took Stilnox, and I heard it was quite a heavy drug. And I was like, well, fuck that. So I changed it to temazepam. I call it the time-traveling drug because when I take it, I don't know when I'm going to pass out. I just pass out when I take it. What happens is I take some temazepam. It's like a time adventure. You know, you're going through time. You know, you're going to be knocked out at one stage. The reason why I call it that is because when I had my gallbladder removed, instead of painkillers, they just gave me temazepam to calm me down. And it worked. Like, the pain was still there, but I couldn't give a shit about it. It was just gone. And shortly after that, I fall asleep, and then I go through time like, woo, just go through time. You know, you don't know where you're going to end up. If it's going to be 1 day or 2 days later, you're just going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh my god, what happened? I took some of that, didn't sleep. So this is where my anxiety's like, fuck this. This is in my system for a month. If I don't sleep for a month, I'm going to die. So I call the police. I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm serious. That's what I called them because I was scared about calling the ambulance because I called them so many times before. Because of my heart condition. I don't know. I'll talk about that in another video, but I have a heart condition where my heart beats really fast and it continues to do so. It's like tachycardia, but I'll do that in a different video. So what happened was, I called the cops. I said I couldn't sleep. I said, all this stuff is happening, so they brought an ambulance with them. I went out with them to the hospital. They did tests on my heart because my heart was going really fast. My blood sugar was really, really low, and my temperature was really low. It was like 35.1. So they did all that, and they put me back in the mental waiting room. My heart was fine. It was just going really, really fast. And I got transferred to a private hospital. And when I got transferred to a private hospital, I was relieved because I didn't want to spend any more time in the public hospital system. It was quite horrible what happened there. It's just a horrible sight to see, to be honest with you. The private hospital has, like, hot chocolate, and you know I love hot chocolate. And yeah, and it has, like, better food and whatnot. Anyhow, so basically, trying to remember, I've been walking around like a dog that's after its own tail. And so this happens, And what happens after that? I get transferred to the private hospital. I'm still walking around like a dog. And it's going to be my 5th night awake, and it's going to become my 6th day awake. When it becomes bedtime there, I beg my roommate, who was a really nice guy and a very good person. I begged him, hey, can you just turn off the lights? I only asked it this time. I've been awake for 5 days straight, and he's like, well, yeah, I could do that, but I won't be able to see what I'm doing in the dark, because he had his computer there. And I was like, well, I just begged my way, and then eventually the lights got turned out, and I was like, great. So that happened, and I slept that night. So that was like 5 days awake. And it was awful. Every single bit of it, because of Risperidone propanoline or whatever it is. I can't remember what it is. Paliperidone, that's what it's called. Yeah, Paliperidone. Anyhow, I'm off that now. I'm on a different antipsychotic. I just thought I'd let you know that's what happened to me. And I'd like to hear your stories as well. About your drug experiences, any sort of antipsychotic experiences or injection experiences. And by the way, the injections that I had in the private, by the private doctor, were forced. I had no merit. I didn't choose to get injections. This was all forced on me involuntarily. So I think what happened is that they start with small doses to basically make sure that you're okay with the drug, which I just got restless legs, and they were like, fuck it. You know, everyone's like, fuck you with the side effects. You have this condition, you need to take medication. And I was just on the low dose, and then when they got to the monthly ones, they have to up the dose. And that's where I think the real side effects kicked in, like the really bad ones. Because this stuff doesn't go through your liver and go through everything else. And it's in your system. It's a slow release drug. It's in your system for a month. So yeah, that's all I wanted to explain. I'm pretty sure I was pretty close to death. Because on that 6th night as well, I had to take painkillers because my legs were cramped as hell. They were just worn down from walking everywhere. I'm fat. I know walking is good for me, but I was 120 kilos. 120 kilos. So I don't know. So I was 264 pounds, and by the time I got out, I was, I'm just trying to figure it out now. Why is this taking so much? I was 253 pounds, so 5-pound difference because I've been walking around all day doing all that and everything. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to share. Yeah, took some aspirin. I managed to get some sleep again. I'd love to hear you guys' comments down below about your experiences with injections or just antipsychotics in general. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.